My name is Maggie, and I am basically going to track, sort of vlog, fitness journey basically, but more of like from a standpoint of an average Joe, I guess. So what's kicked this off is that I've wanted to keep up with my health a little bit better, and in doing so I signed up for a tough mountain challenge, which is an obstacle course. It's 5K obstacle course, and it is next year, July of next year, 2024. And so basically I'm going to start tracking working out and getting back into shape. But my goal with this is, one, for accountability, and two, to kind of show people that you can work out without needing a lot of fancy gadgets or a personal trainer or money in general. I mean, there are some things that are vital, but for the most part, get up and move is kind of like just what I'm aiming for. For me, I'm going to, I guess, talk about the challenge and then kind of talk about my plan afterward of how I'm going to basically prepare for it and kind of what I have that I'm going to be using. Like, I have a Garmin, but I'll explain more after. So this is the Tough Mountain Challenge. It is based in Maine, in Sugarloaf, a place called Sugarloaf, which is a big ski place up here. And I just heard about it by Googling things because I was looking for, I don't like to run specifically, like running with nothing else to do seems boring, and an Ironman is just a little bit too hard. And triathlons, like, I just there's not a incentive there for me. I kind of like action-packed, quick stuff. I was a sprinter in high school. I played team sports, so action with breaks in between or nonstop action is kind of my jam. So this I Googled and I was like, this is great. I found it the day of the actual race this year and then waited until the following day to register. So I did. So I didn't even look at the race information. I just signed up for it. I was like, oh, it's a 5K obstacle course. Cool. And they said that people don't go for time, but just have fun. So I was like, oh, sweet. So then I finally looked it up when I was telling my fiance what I did. And I'm going to show you basically why I'm also kicking myself in the rear to do this, because the course itself is basically muddy and wet. It's 20 plus obstacles. And as you can see, they clearly are gluttons for punishment. It's a 5K, so it's 3+ miles. There's 37 heats and 3,000 competitors, which is really cool. So I got to see all the race times for all the people up there. And there were people who took 4 hours, and there were people who took 32 minutes. Anywhere in the between there is great for me. What I like about the 37 heats is that they separate you based on your heat, so that there's not a lot of people on the course, so that way you're not crowded and you're not waiting for somebody, which is nice, because that's sometimes with those kind of things, you're just crammed and it feels like, well, this sucks. I picked the 8 o'clock time, which is the first one, because I'd rather do it first and get it done and have the rest of the day to relax. They also have, I think it's in here when I go over it, but they also have, I think, beer pit stops at like one of the last obstacle, which obviously you don't have to participate in, but you can. Okay, so this is the obstacle course. So I got myself into a muddy puddle, basically, but it's gonna be fun. So the first mile is made up of these. Shoe sucker. This watery mud pit is about waist deep. You can choose to run through this puddle or try and run around it on the muddy sides. Make sure your laces are on tight. Many a shoe has been lost in the muddy pit. Hurricane Alley, they're going to have 12 low-energy, high-velocity snow guns that create waves of water, so that should be fun, because those snow guns are no joke. Bust and Burn is the third one, a nod to our retired thigh-burning mogul competition. You'll race across 100 feet of deep, muddy ditches under a barrage of snow guns. Try skipping peak to peak and risk falling into a wet, muddy grave. Valley of Death. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Quote Psalm 23:4, all you want. Because Lord knows you're not going to be able to breathe or see shit for about 100 feet. Just bow your head, genuflect, and plow through this narrow but very dense valley of death. So all I can think of is this is probably very dense woods or grass. Either that or they've made something. But there's no other explanation other than that, so it should be interesting. B2W. This one's great. It says balls, basically balls to walls, or boobs to walls. I'm assuming climbing wall because it says upper body and lower body strength, so we'll see. Landslide. Prepare to grip or slip. This new obstacle features flowing water down a tarp on a steep incline. It may take you a try or 2 or 3. So climbing up a steep incline after being muddy and wet. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be a tactic that I'll have to figure out. Maybe with my new shoes, hiking shoes that I just got, I'll be able to because they're quite grippy. Cage choker. Claustrophobic, love it or hate it. You'll need to relax your anxieties as you claw your way through this one. Don't pass out in the middle and nobody will be able to reach you. I assume that this is because it's going to be like either upright walking through barbed wire or under it like some of the other crawling obstacle courses. So that's mile 1. Already interesting. And then mile 2 is a waterfall tire, which I think is really cool. It's kind of involving kind of like a rope climb, but with rubber tires and wetness. So I think that'll be fun. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that one. It is 20 feet high. It should be interesting. But the description is, this isn't a scenic waterfall. Stumble down a deep ravine, then climb up a 20-foot cascading waterfall on a wall of slick tires. If you smell burning rubber, don't worry. It's just your muscles on overdrive. That away, you'll follow a stream bed up to a 50-foot culvert that crosses under a ski trail called That Away. Hustle your love muscle, though, because the folks behind you have been given permission to pinch. Cue the flashback to being chased up a stairs by your siblings. Yes, I don't need that. WTF. Your back will ache, your legs will scream, and you'll want to throw up as you push straight uphill to conquer the biggest obstacle in TMC. Remember, pain is just weakness leaving the body. Fact, 25% puke at the top of this natural obstacle. My goal is to not do that. I generally don't when I work out to that extreme, so we'll see. What I'll probably do is just not eat heavy. Nothing but net. A new obstacle this year. You'll have to duck, dip, dive, and dodge your way through this forest maze. Expect to get tangled up once or twice. Spider's web. Get on all fours and navigate this web of slack lines over a muddy, watery hell. The faster you get through this, the less painful it will be. And then creepy crawler. Time to belly up to the bugs. You have to crawl through this obstacle, which will definitely leave your skin crawling too. I don't have issues with bugs, and I'll probably be focused on making it through there and being stubborn. This should be interesting. Mile 3. Plus, obviously, a little extra because the 5K is like 3.1 miles. Shotgun station. TMC tradition, feel free to take a quick mid-course break to shotgun a beer. It's optional, but the barmaids are rather brutal if you decide to skip this one. I don't particularly drink. We have a dry household for the most part, but I might partake just because of the experience, and it's just one, so I haven't shotgun a beer since college. Mud crawl. After years of experimentation, we've perfected our mud recipe to ensure you won't be able to pass too quickly and can't avoid getting super muddy. Don't forget about the razor-sharp barbed wire just above your back. We're still picking out hair and clothes from last year's tryst. Hay tower. Now that you're all muddy, let's try and climb a huge pyramid of hay. The mud is a great glue for other insects and itchy straw. Pond extravaganza. How many obstacles can you fit in Barker Pond? You'll find out. This obstacle requires swimming. If you can't swim, grab a PFD on your way in. Spectators can get in on the action this year with our new water gun station. Foam pit. Time to get on your hands and knees, crawl through a tube and into the pit. Foam yourself up and climb out via ladder. Foam and mud mix well together, we promise. That's a lie. Snow and steady. Slowly balance your way across snowmaking pipes over a very long and very dirty pond. Remember, mud makes everything slippery. So that's another reason why I like going on the first one. Even if somebody's ahead of me, there's not going to be that many people. Like, I'm not going after a ton of heats where that's all muddy, and it makes it much more difficult. I almost didn't do the first heat. It'll still be slippery because there are going to be people trying to beat. There's people that have been doing it for years, so they'll probably try to beat their previous year. Slip, slide, and die. A longer, faster, and ribbed for your pleasure. We always love innuendos. This delightful obstacle is gravity-fed and deposits you into a pool with a mighty splash. Jump on and enjoy the ride. Steamroller. Steamroller is defined as an oppressive and relentless power of force. You certainly won't look the same when you exit this. It will suck you in and spit you out. Happy ending, you won't get off without a little mud to finish, so I'm guessing you might jump into a mud pit. That is the entire race. I'm kind of excited. It's a lot more involved than I thought it was going to be, but it's kind of exactly what I was looking for. So this is part of Sugarloaf, so that's pretty cool. I think you probably start here and then end up down here like this. They do allow you to go night before because they have a little check-in party thing the night before, so I'll probably end up doing that. This is kind of what I'm looking at for this course, which should be fun. It seems pretty well thought out. I don't remember how long they've been doing it. I think it's been at least 10 years, maybe. Snow guns, barbed wire. Ah, okay. Bear crawls are going to come in handy for this. Definitely. Just work on that form. Balance we'll figure out, but work on the form. Because I think that somebody right here was trying to go forward, and I'm not sure how that's going to work. Yeah, see, it doesn't, I mean, I guess it looks pretty high. That is 20 feet, but that's pretty fun. So this is the pond. I'm definitely going to fall in, and that's okay. I'm definitely going to fall in. That is basically the whole challenge. As I said, I signed up because I needed to give something for myself to look forward to and challenge myself to do. Having something that distracts me for exercise, a lot easier for me to do. Like, I can't just go out and run all the time. It's just, one, boring for me, and I need something to kind of occupy my brain. Basically, my goal is to get better at just doing more activity, because my job, I am in the trades, but like I don't really do a lot of activity. So I'd like to get a little bit back into doing that, like walking more. Okay, what I'm planning to do is do more hikes, just to get used to trail walking and the uneven ground. I'd like to obviously do more cardio and build up my endurance. My goal is to do zone 2, which is technically considered easier training cardio. You're only getting your heart rate up so high, and you're in a zone. You can't go below 120 and can't go above 155. I think that's just for me. So I'd like to do that to build up endurance for my cardiovascular health, because I'm not really looking to be long distance, just overall better heart health, and then not overkill myself to the point where I am wanting to quit. Because that's what happens, is I end up getting gung-ho about something, and then I just don't follow through. Like, I have a whole gym in our house, a whole gym, picked up pieces here and there that I can get out of bed, walk in there and use it, and I don't, because I get real gung-ho about it and then almost too much. So I gave myself a year to do this challenge. I've already, for the last week, so I signed up 2 weeks ago. It was like the 23rd that they did it. It's the same next year. So I signed up the following day. I started getting up at 3:30, just getting up, not actually doing anything. So I could give myself more time to do something in the morning before work, because my job, I am tired at the end of the night. So if I could get up and do it first, that's better. Started getting up at 3:30 for like the first week. And then this past week, I've been getting up at 3:30. I've only a couple times like gone back to sleep, but that's because I just physically, things have happened where I was woken up too early by the cat. She howls at me from 2 o'clock on. For the last week and a half or so, my fiance and I have been taking walks after work, which have been really nice. That's adding a little bit more steps. It's like an after dinner or before dinner walk, so we kind of get that before bedtime, kind of calm down. What I plan to do is, I know I need to not just jump into it, but I would like to see how far I can run without stopping for a 3K or for a 5K, and then how I can do on a 5K hike, which we did 2.5 miles, or about 2 miles, and it was pretty quick and easy. It wasn't hard. So I'm going to try and do that more often, just to see where I'm at, and then start slowly just hiking bigger hikes every weekend, while during the week doing more cardio, more walking, eventually more body weight lifting to get the strength back as I lose some of this extra weight I have. I was going to do like a screen grab of like food intake and proteins, carbs, and fats, which maybe I'll eventually do, but like for right now, I think that I just want to, I'm already tracking, I've been tracking, and I've actually lost 2 pounds. It's not technically about the weight, but it's more of like just making sure I don't overeat, because I can just eat whatever and it doesn't matter. So I'd like to be a little bit more conscious of what I put in my body. This is kind of an intro of what I'm doing. I am going to be planning more hikes, and what I might do is just kind of wait every week after I've done a whole week of something and kind of post an update every week. We'll see. I don't want to set myself up for failure, so I'm going to try to do my best. Just checking in while I'm editing. I haven't failed, but I haven't been keeping up. I'm like a month behind. It's not too bad. It's going pretty good. Just been slow start, which I'm okay with. I'm accepting, because I'm not trying to push myself. As I edit this, it's probably been about a month. Wait, what month is it? Oh, it's been a month and a half. Just want a reminder, do not fault yourself if you don't follow through 100%. Start tiny, little habits, and keep yourself accountable, and you'll be fine. But that's all I have to say. Okay, back. My plan is to go slow, work on my cardio, and getting back into working out, and then work on more probably obstacle course specific stuff, like doing stairs, doing like bear crawls or pull-ups, or more weighted stuff, so that I'm stronger at the same time. But the cardio needs to get back in there, because if I put on more weight with muscle, then it's just going to be a lot heavier, than I intended. On top of vlogging or talking about tracking my progress, I'm kind of going to show like you can do things without needing the latest and greatest gadgets. Now, for me, I do have family and friends. I was able to get this Garmin watch from a family friend for pretty inexpensively. I did get a heart rate monitor, and then I got a scale that also goes with the Garmin so I can track my weight and stuff like that just for me. But you don't need all of that. If you have a good tracker, like just a generic Fitbit, which you can get on Amazon for pretty cheap, that's great, so you can just see your steps. I think the biggest thing is just walking. Just start moving, and that's kind of what my goal is at. And then push myself a little bit. You don't need anything crazy to track. There are things like if you do want to track food for like your macros, your fats, proteins, and carbs. MyFitnessPal I'm using because it goes with my Garmin, but there's a free version so you can just track what you put in your body, which is helpful. And you can kind of Google, obviously if it's a little bit more involved, you can Google the macros of the food that you're eating. I also don't want to restrict or indulge too much. So like what happens is if I restrict, I end up craving it. So I try not to restrict too much because then I'm just gonna binge at some point. If I focus on each meal and then, you know, if I'm still hungry, then I'm gonna eat, because obviously I haven't consumed enough of the vital proteins and things like that. So it's just this week without having to think about it has been nice because we meal prep, and so I have the same lunch or same dinner or same breakfast. So long-winded talk to just say that I'm going to start tracking. All right, I'm going to plan more hikes, probably one day out of every weekend or multiple days if I do little ones. I will probably track maybe in a couple weeks, see how I can do on a 3K run, not a 3K, a 5K run, and then a 5K trail, and then maybe do a trail run just to get used to that as well, because it's obviously going to be on uneven ground. But that's it. I'll probably also, like, if I go for a longer hike, kind of film what inexpensively can be had for a shorter hike or a longer hike without needing a special backpack or, you know, clothes. Kind of just basically do it on a budget if I can. We'll just see where this goes. And watch me be weird and awkward and corny. I didn't get to close out that video when I recorded it. I think, as you could tell through the rest of it, I started to get tired. Right now, while I'm editing it, I'm going to say thanks for watching. I am hopefully going to keep up with this. I've got a couple more videos filmed. I just have to edit them. So I do have those. Those are coming soon. One's a really long hike that I did, and another one's another long hike, but I went by myself this time. Also, wanted to add that I am doing squats for subs. So anyone who subscribes, I will do a squat. I have done 3 already out of the 11 that I have. I am doing them compounding. So I've already done 3. Now that I have 11, I will do 11, not the difference, if that makes sense. So if I have 20 subscribers, I will do 20. If I gain another 10, I will do 30, not the remaining 10. Subscribe. Make me squat. Watch me be in pain and build some sick quads. But anyways, like, subscribe, share, and follow along with all my weird stuff. And hopefully this is fun. Follow along till the end to see how I do in the challenge, which is next July 23rd, I believe. So yeah, thanks. Check on the next one.